looks like we're having fun.
And you get posters and all
we get
kinds of stuff.
posters, and they get treated like the Stars do. And you know, I think that's real important for these, especially at youth level. The kids are having fun and they're enjoying it, and they're little egomaniacs. Let's be honest. And you know, even the high school kids. I tell my wife, you know, these girls for prom, they want 100 pictures taken. They spend all the time picking out a dress and shoes. These football guys are walking around dicks. Well, I got to have the Nike Vapors, and I need this color gloves, and these are going to be my wristbands. It's prom night for those guys. So a picture of them in a football game is like taking a picture of a girl on prom night.
Hey, we could talk all day, but let's real quick. Lynn Bowden, one of the guys. Let's talk guys in this area real quick, Mark, from before, and then maybe a little statewide guys that you want to give some recognition to.
Yeah, I mean, Lynn Bowden, first off, we knew at Liberty, off the charts. Okay, let's see if he matures, goes to Warren Harding, moves the quarterback, and has an outstanding season. Okay, so he's got all the offers, Michigan, Michigan State. He's one of the top recruits. He goes to camps, ups his stock, and then the first 3 games this year, he's a man amongst boys. He is one of the better players.
He's kind of that good, isn't he, Mark? I mean,
and I hate that people always say, like, you know, with the scout, I hate to anoint a kid and put that on his shoulders, but the Manninghams, the Clarets, the LJ Scotts.
So he's right there.
He's right there with them, has all that ability. How does he finish that road? How, you get to college, you got to finish. He could be a freshman starter at any school he wanted. He has that ability. He could be a receiver. He might be able to add weight, be a tailback. He could be a defensive back. He's anything he wants, and it's great that we have him in this area. And he is like turning high school football into Pee Wee football, where just pitch it to him, and the best kid's just going to run down the field. You can miss your first 2 blocks, and he will make those kids miss, and he'll still score. So he's making the guys around him better, and you know it's nice that we have a great player.
A lot of coaches ask you about him.
Yeah, he's where's he going? What's the latest on him? He committed to Indiana early. Why did he do that? And we know that the recruiter in town was a local guy, Dylan McCullough, so he had a relationship there and jumped on him early before I think Lynn knew what his ceiling was. That maybe I am going to be in Ohio State or Oregon or one of these elite programs across.
Where do you think he might end up, Bird?
Yeah, so for Ohio, he's a top 5-10 player in whatever rankings you may go by. He is elite. He could play for the best schools in this area, but Ohio State is a national recruiting team now where they're recruiting the whole country.
They're kind of full.
And in whatever position he's at, if they fill it up with 1 or 2 guys, they simply can't take him. And so when you're talking about a national base instead of just Ohio, it puts you in a pool with maybe 20 or 30 other guys just like you, where they're all from different states. So I think nationally, I'm not sure, but he is Michigan, Michigan State, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Penn State, our regional area, the best you can get.
Jalen Hewlett, any good? Can he? Is he too small?
Jalen
from Mooney.
Oh,
the defensive end.
Yeah. Outstanding
small?
player. Yeah,
Is that
you know
the
what?
reason?
And then these edge players, okay? It's going to be the fit, whether it's a 3-4 outside linebacker or defensive end. Like you say, he's defensive end, but he maybe not big enough. Maybe he has to be a stand-up linebacker. That's going to be, like they say, one coach. It only takes one coach to fall in love. Hey, he fits our system. He's our backside Leo.
So
he's our
Matt
backside
kid, maybe?
Maybe, we'll see. But a lot of what he does in camps too. And how long he measures. And I tell kids all the time, and I tell dads this. I'll go see 500 or 600 kids that are 6'2", 200 pounds. And that's plenty big enough to go play in the MAC.
It's about him.
Yeah, and some of them are linebackers, some are defensive ends, some are tight ends, some are receivers. That body type is so common, and it is a Division I body type. And the difference between all of them is speed. Y'all watch all 400 of them, and the 5 or 6 that I'll pull out of that group will be the guys that you see him go.
But some make special plays, though, even if they're not. He's
recruiting.
He's more of a makes play guy.
Well, I'd like to believe when Jeff Beck got me recruited in the 90s, it was about football players. Now it's about athletes. And guys like me maybe wouldn't get recruited because we didn't meet the athletic standards of height, weight, speed, vertical jumps, that type of stuff, which I'm not sure if that's the right way to do business, but that's the way it does it. So they assume everybody can play football. Everybody's good at football. Give us the best athlete who can play football at that point.
Any good players in this area we need to see that this year? Fitch got a couple guys.
Yeah, Jakari Lumsden's an underclassman at Fitch. I think he has a MAC offer already. Running back, linebacker, big running back, linebacker. Tight end, Travis Kuntz over at Boardman, big-time tight end. Bowling Green, but
can he still get?
Yeah, I was going to say, it's so smart to commit before your junior year, senior year, put that money in the bank, and then if something bigger comes along, it's to the player's advantage, the way the system is set, that he can decommit and go bigger. And no one usually begrudges you if you go from Bowling Green to a bigger school. If you went from Bowling Green to Kent, took a lateral move, it's kind of, what'd you do that for? You're not a good, but if you coaches understand, hey, this kid was blessed with a better opportunity. He had a great senior year. So you put your money in the bank before your senior year, and if you do blow up, God bless you.
Crest, you got one or two guys?
Jordan Murphy, a great looking player, defensive end. I believe he's headed to Bowling Green also. He started at outside linebacker and grew to the defensive line. And there's a 6'7" offensive tackle there, Jacob Scheller, 4.0 student, maybe a Patriot Ivy League type player. And with that type of length, everyone's going to give him an opportunity.
Is the Mitch Davidson kid got any chance to do anything?
From
Columbiana, the quarterback.
Yeah.
Is he a good fit somewhere?
Yeah,
Mac?
Smaller schools, and this is
Or is Mac
yeah.
too? I don't know. His body type. I don't know what.
A lot of people will say the MAC, but I'm more realistic where the spots are just going to fill up, and so you got to be realistic in your grades and the Ivy League, Division IIs, and Patriot Leagues. But at the end of the day, that kid should have some part of his tuition paid for because of his football ability. Might not be the full thing, maybe at YSU or half or whatever, but that's the type of scholarship.
AJ Muzzolino and maybe this
Yeah,
Mitchell kid, sophomore at Struthers.
Yeah, and Mussolino is another Kent safety. If you remember Luke Wallet and Jordan Italiano from
Yeah,
Canfield, Luke Wallet from Pulling, they were both safeties.
Works good.
Mussolino is the exact same type of kid. He might be a little longer,
Yeah,
taller than those guys.
Definitely.
He may even be able to put on enough weight where he grows the linebacker. Yeah, and I know everyone knows him as the quarterback, but this is what recruiting is about. Okay, he projects better to this position based on his height, weight, speed, where he's stats and his notoriety's come from
This
quarterback.
Willie Mitchell, sophomore, is supposed to be pretty good at Struthers too.
Yeah, and Kurt Coots over there has had a couple guys. They have the big offensive lineman,
Big
instead of
tackle.
senior. Yeah, and all those guys went to camps, and as we get into February, right before that month, those 3 weeks before February is when all these guys will start slotting into places because the MAC schools have to make their picks, get all their commitments, and no one will fire on anybody until they know where the chips have fallen.
Great. And then Robbie Savin at Niles is a pretty good running back, sophomore, young kid.
Yep, he's a nice kid, and even the receivers there, the Pearson kid,
Pearson?
yeah, and the other senior receivers, they make a nice combo, and they've been catching a ton of balls. For
Did
years
Hubbard
there.
find someone else this year or what?
Morales, yeah, another running back. You think they just got rid of two of the best in Ohio with George Hill and LJ Scott, and they have another one waiting in the wings.
Real quick, Mark, any national guys, statewide guys you follow that are worth paying attention to?
Yeah.
Just real quick, couple guys.
Everybody likes to know about the Ohio State guys.
Yeah, mainly.
I mean, we look at the Buckeye State.
Sure.
It's hard to ignore them. We could probably do a whole segment on all of them.
Yeah.
But Josh Myers.
That's a big one, right?
This was an offensive lineman his freshman
And
year.
you've seen him.
Yeah, that looked like a senior when he was a freshman. You're like, how does that happen? And that's what a Buckeye should look like. The Buckeyes are under the opinion that if they take a player, the NFL is going to want that player in 3 years to go in the first round. So they're looking for kids with these traits that are NFL first round traits, not just Division I traits, not just good, college player. We want what the NFL wants, and it's really kind of smart. Like if you're an NFL team, you get one first round pick a year and one second round pick a year. At Ohio State, they could bring in 4 or 5 first round picks a year, 3 or 4 second round picks. They got 20 kids they're bringing in. They're bringing in draft picks, and so the kids that they're recruiting, like this Josh Myers, are off the charts. And they're playing Wayne, and Wayne's got a couple players. Looking at LaChristian Smith, is a 6'5" receiver who's 200-some pounds. He has basketball offers, football
Ohio
offers,
State football and basketball.
Alabama. So the caliber of athletes we get to talk about as soon as we bring up Ohio State are off the charts. So Ohio State is like recruiting is at the highest level I've ever seen them recruit since I've been doing this.
And it's nice, correct me if I'm wrong, to watch a Billy Price as a sophomore, maybe even as a freshman.
Yep.
They're talking about him in the 8th grade, and now look at him. And like you and I both get to follow his whole career like that.
That's the fun. When we're off camera, a lot of times we'll say, remember when we saw Billy, when he was a freshman, and we sat there and said, is he or isn't he, or a John Simon that's in the NFL?
John Simon, definitely.
Fitzgerald Toussaint, who's in the NFL.
Pittsburgh.
You never know where these kids are going to resurface, and it's so cool
It's kind of neat,
to see them when they're young, and then they're wide-eyed, and the football is still, and they're not this famous person yet. And what were they like before?
And they remember you from back then, and that's what's kind of nice.
Yeah, it's really a cool thing. The football family in this area is something that I have grown to appreciate more and more.
Sure.
Especially with my old head coach being here tonight.
Jeff Big,
and how all these roots. They say the coaching tree, and this is a great area. It's been a great area for 100 years. I know the population's not the same. We don't put out the same numbers of talent, but the tradition and people are great.
Now, are you committed to this till death do us part, or what?
Isn't this one of those ways you just ride?
How do you end
until
it? You
finish the
don't,
story?
right?
Yeah.
Or your sons get old enough to run
I
it
was
for
gonna
you?
say, isn't the picture of a scout some old guy with a cigar watching a projector?
John McAllister.
Yeah,
There
so
you go.
and I don't know if as long as they let you do it until they turn the lights off on you or a better system comes along.
Yeah.
I'm happy to do it. I'm lucky to do it. even if it is a grind, I'm lucky to be grinding.
I consider myself lucky every day when I go to drive to Columbus.
Yeah, I mean,
Do what I do on the weekends.
And a real thing, I've had other jobs. I've dug ditches. I've been on roofs. Covering football on its
Not
worst
bad.
day, yeah, busiest, most tired day isn't any different than those other things. So good end of the stick.
I just hope you have continued success with it, and you know, who knows where it's going to lead you. I don't know. I mean,
It's already.
is this all you need? You don't need any more?
I mean, I have another job too, but this has already been beyond my wildest blast. I mean, I've had a Forrest Gump football existence. You know, whether it's getting a scholarship, just being that lucky, and it was only to Kent State, and we weren't even good in college. But I realized how lucky that was, and I've worked, you know.
And you played with some good pros, didn't you, when you were at Kent State?
I mean, and some good coaches that went to the NFL, and you know, you just realize how
You are Forrest Gump.
how many people you've bumped into, and yeah, I mean, it's really been lucky. I got to work for the 49ers.
And you're on TV every week in the fall with Dana at
Really?
21.
Forrest Gump, even, you know, how people like you still invite me, and if there wasn't a thirst for this football knowledge in this area,
Sure.
you know, there's other states where no one cares. I have friends that I played with that coach in North Carolina, other states, and you know, I've seen pictures of their fields on Friday night, and I'm like, was that a JV game, you know, that you were at? And like, oh my god, and their state powers. You know, I have a friend that coaches in Chicago, and football is truly special in Ohio. It's all we have. We don't diversify with all the hockeys and field hockeys and all the other sports that other kids have, and the beach and other places. So, you know, Youngstown especially, a great place. Even with Trestle being in town, and you know, only a town like this gets a guy like that to come back to.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it really is.
It's been a great ride for you, I'm sure, and continued success with it, Martin.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming here and sharing some of your moments with us, and I really appreciate getting you down here and
Yeah,
doing that
I'll
for us.
probably be back, I'm sure, and I wish you the best with this. I hope
Great.
it goes good for you.
Thanks. That's Mark Porter, Scouting Ohio. You can find him on the web, www.scoutingohio.com. And we're going to be back with more from Kelly's Bar in Youngstown, Ohio with Yards After Contact.
Hercules LED is an energy efficient company that has saved organizations of all sizes an average of 62% in electricity. Our energy efficient program allows businesses to convert to LED with no upfront money. If you'd like to learn how to save your business money in energy costs, call Hercules LED at 1-844-HERC-LED. That's 1-844-HERC-LED.
And welcome back to Kelly's Bar, Mahoney Avenue in Youngstown with Yards After Contact. And we're doing our feature episode, our feature segment where we, why not take care of our own guy who does all the work behind the scenes? Bob Vea, Sergeant Bob. You might know him from the karaoke world in the area. Bob, you do all the grunt work behind the scenes, and everything you do, the final product, it's much appreciated by us, of course, and we thank you for your efforts and all your work that you do for that. But let's talk about what you do. You have your own little business besides.
Sure
You do karaoke, which a lot of people probably sung with you one way or another.
One way or another. I know you have.
Yeah, I have, over the years. Family reunions,
Most definitely.
golf outings.
Golf outings.
You've done it all. Graduation parties.
Yeah, that's right.
But what is MVP Entertainment?
Well, basically, MVP Entertainment is a company I started a few years ago, starting doing shows, bar shows, trivia shows, private parties, weddings, providing DJ music service. And the Army, in its infinite wisdom, thought I'd be a good broadcaster. So they sent me to the U.S. Army Broadcast School, and I decided to parlay that into an education. I graduated from the University of Akron with a degree in communications, and I put together this company. I've been doing video production, audio production, basically commercial stuff. I don't videotape weddings or anything like that. I do commercials for businesses, instructional videos, corporate video. I'm starting to get into real estate video, which is becoming bigger. Plus the fact that I get to videotape the hottest webcast dealing with high school football in the area, Yards After Contact. So.
Great. Now, you had a beginning with Shooting Star as well.
Yeah.
My brother.
Yeah, Ray hired me. He hired me while I was in the military, actually, out at the Canfield Fair. Shooting Star always had a huge show at the Canfield Fair. They put on a great stage show to benefit local children's charities. They still do. But he saw me out there. I was an Army recruiter at the time, and he saw me and heard me sing, and said, I want to give you a job. And I said, I already got a job. And he said, no, maybe a part-time job, as a host. So he hired me, and that's how I got involved in the DJ business. And I got back from my last deployment with an Army Reserve unit during, I guess that would have been OIF 1 in 2003, Operation Iraqi Freedom in 2003, and decided, it's time to kind of make my move and do the things I want to do. So I ended up going to school, becoming a videographer, a civilian videographer, and that's where it went from there.
So now you're helping us with this great production here. Tell us, everybody, what you do when you're here, and you're here usually the first one here and setting up already by the time we get here.
Well, basically, what it entails is you have to make sure that the video is set up, of course. You have to make sure the sound is set up. We have 3 microphones, basically. You have your tabletop mic. We have a boom mic right in back of us, and of course we've got Gary on a quartz mic. So you have to set that up and make sure the sound's all balanced, and then we have to make sure the lighting is just right. Because you want to look good on camera. And after we interview some of the great high school football talent that come in and visit us, and their coaches or business owners that happen to come in. I take all that footage and all the sound, and I take them back.
You just start working afterwards.
I just start working. Takes for every 2 hours of video, it takes about 2 to 4 hours of editing time. Then if there are any commercials I have to write, I write the commercials, and then I produce the commercials and stick those in, and then it's time to put the finished product out.
So if there's any, not only teams, because we're always still looking for guys that come in every week to join us on this show. A lot of teams have commitments, and coaches have commitments, and players. But also, if you have a business that maybe needs a little promotion,
That's right.
they can contact you or us or YouTube or somebody.
I think it's important to remember that high school football in this area,